Alright guys, we're back in the kitchen because since I showed this new style of the government freeze-dried food from FreezeDryGuy, a lot of people want to know what it tastes like, what it looked like, how to make it. So this is a little follow-up video. It's very, very simple, and the instructions are on the front here. And it simply says add 16 ounces of hot water to pouch, stir, wait 10 minutes. Hot water may be added in stages to keep food hot. We're going to add it all together just to make things easy. Plus I'll see what it comes out like, and tell you, if it's just warm or if it's actually hot. Now this, because it's military, it's saying that 16 ounces is 3/4 of your canteen cup, like a standard canteen cup. But I have some regular measuring cups here, and one regular cup is 8 ounces. Okay, so it's 2 cups of water. So first thing we want to do is break open the pouch. Now, I'm not going to be using a knife for this because we have to assume we don't have a knife, even though if you're buying these, you should at least have one knife. I think that'd be the very least thing you can do. But you don't need one, okay? You can see the top, it's there's a seal mark across here, but you can easily grab this like this and it should pull apart just like an MRE would, alright? So we're going to do that together. It is tough to pull apart. So it's a really good seal. I'm also standing behind, let me get to the side here. Standing behind the tripod doesn't help anything. Okay. That's a really tough seal. So, looks like we're not going to be pulling it apart. I'm not going to be using a knife for this. Grab a knife here. And do it the easy way. I should cut the top off. Okay. Alright, so take a peek in here. Case in point, get yourself a knife. Alright, if you're buying survival food, for God's sakes, get yourself a knife. In fact, buy 15 knives. Anyway, alright, so here it is, freeze-dried. Again, this is beef stew, if I didn't already mention. Okay. Now, if you look in there, we'll see the peas, and you got the carrots, and the little brown cubes of beef. I'm not sure what the white ones are here, if that's kind of like stuffing or, little bread chunks. I'm really not sure. We will find out as I cook this and taste it. Actually, let me try some dry. First of all, the smell, it just smells kind of chalky. It doesn't really smell like the food that much. Let's try a little piece of this, which I can assume is the beef, freeze-dried beef. Wow. Tastes exactly like beef you'd get in beef stew. It's actually really good. It's weird. When you throw it in your mouth and you crunch on it, it has a texture of a crouton, but the second your saliva touches it, it hydrates, and all of a sudden, like it's going in my mouth as a crouton, and by the time I'm done chewing it, it's as if I had a fresh piece of, beef from beef stew. So anyway, let's try. I've had freeze-dried peas before. Same deal. Although they taste like a pea right off the bat. And then these yellow things, or orangey things, I'm assuming is carrot. And it is. Alright guys, so I'm going to answer a couple of the most common questions I've had about this food, if they're not, familiar with this stuff. Not just this specific brand or anything, but just freeze-dried food in general. And the most important thing in having this is also having water. Plenty of water. In fact, water is the most important part of any kind of survival situation. Okay, you can eat this without water, but take in consideration that it might do more harm than it will good, because you need water in your body for digestion, as well as this can actually dehydrate you. If you have a ton of food like this and it sucks up all the moisture in your stomach, valuable moisture, that you're lacking now because you've been without water for who knows how long, it may be harmful. Okay, so if you're going to be someone who's going to buy this stuff to stock it for any kind of situation, it might not necessarily be some end of the world kind of crap. It could just be that you have a storm in your area, you can't get to the store. For whatever reason, you want to stock plenty of water with it. It's not necessary for it, but I think it's extremely important to have it. Okay, you want to prepare it properly, and you want to give your body enough water, that it needs. So anyway, Speaking of which, gently put this down so I don't make a mess. Alright, so 16 ounces of water, which is going to be 2 cups. So, bring this over here. That's 1. And 2. So we're just going to bring this water to a boil and then add it to our food and let it sit. So I'll be right back with you in a minute. Alright guys, I'm going to stop it here because right now I have I would consider a low boil. It's not like a rolling boil or anything, but it's hot water. And I mistakenly read the package as if I needed boiling water, but in fact it just says hot water. So, we have hot water. Now we have our 2 cups, so I'm going to add this into the bag slowly, then I'm going to stir it all together, and then we're going to close the bag and wait 10 minutes, like the directions say. Okay? So, whoop, I lost one of my little pieces of something or other. All looks the same, can't tell if that's meat or not. But here we go. Just adding a little bit at a time, because now of course the bag is hot, which I should have known it was going to be. Alright, so the rest is going to go in. Okay. Close the bag. A little shake. Make sure all the stuff on top gets nice and wet too. Again, be careful. You are dealing with hot water, and it doesn't. It's not insulated very good, so it is very hot to the touch. Right? You don't want to be doing this in your hand or in your lap or anything. All right, so I'm gonna wait 10 minutes. I was gonna put this back in the pot, but I don't want to leave it in the hot. Just gonna pretend like it's up against a rock somewhere. Who knows? You know. So anyway, I'll be back in 10 minutes and we'll take a look at it and we'll try it and I'll tell you what you think. Alright, so it's been 10 minutes due to editing magic. Let's see what we have here. Okay, first let me give this just a little bit of a toss back and forth. Make sure the top's closed. Okay. So our finished product here, and it's still extremely hot. Gonna kind of cup the side here. And take a look in there. Oh. Duh. Those little things I thought were croutons or potatoes. That should have made sense to me off the bat. Actually, you know what? Stupid, I'm putting it in a bag. I'm in the kitchen. Let me grab a bowl. Make more sense, right? Alright. So, pour a little out here. Whoa. A little more than a little. Okay. Well, first of all, smell it. It smells really good. It's got, I mean, at least with a spoon so far, it's got a good consistency. I'm going to try a couple of these different pieces. You know, I mean, the meat obviously should be a little bit chewier than, say, the potato, you know, or the carrot. And that's basically what it is. You have meat, potatoes, carrots, and peas. Alright, so let me try just a little piece of meat here first. Okay, a little piece of beef. It has a little bit of a spongy quality to it. I mean, once you first bite into it, it's spongy. Like, you can tell that it's absorbed moisture and it wasn't just originally wet like that. But then as you chew it, it really just, you know, texture-wise, it feels exactly the same as, you know, beef that would have been in a stew cooking on the, you know, the stove for a couple hours. As far as taste, it tastes really good. The meat, maybe the whole mixture I would assume, but I'm picking up a lot of onion flavor in here as well. Let me try just the potato. Let me get one without meat on it. Alright, here's a little bit of potato here. Alright. Much better consistency. The potatoes have the consistency of real potatoes. And that's what this is, by the way. This is all real food. It's just been processed and freeze-dried. Okay, it's not fake food. And that's another thing that some people might think is, you know, what is it really? Is it like soy mixed with crap? No, it's actual beef, it's actual potatoes, you know, actual vegetables. They're just dehydrated, okay, or freeze-dried. There's a difference, excuse me. They're freeze-dried, okay? But the one thing you will notice is that there's no big chunks. To have a consistent product, everything is in smaller, bits like this. But I'm going to try actual mouthfuls if I'm eating it like a normal meal. Get everything kind of mixed together. Well, the texture is definitely different. It's definitely spongier because of the meat. It's the only real way I can explain it. It's kind of like, it's spongy. That's pretty straightforward, right? But the flavors are great. It tastes like really good beef stew. You'll certainly get all the nutrition and protein and stuff you're going to want out of this meal. As far as the nutritional facts, here they are in the back if you're interested in looking at that. So this whole thing is 580 calories for the whole bag. Alright, it's a substantial amount of food considering. I mean, I have a bowl full here and another full bowl full. The bag is still filled up to this point here. Okay, so basically I would say two dinners. You can get away with having this just one bowl for dinner and be very content and full from it. Of course, kids aren't going to eat as much as adults. But you know what? It has a great flavor. It just has a weird texture to it. Like I said, it's spongy is the only way I can really explain it. Take another bite, see if I can think of some other way to explain it. You know what? There is another way I can explain it. The texture to me is very much like store-bought stovetop stuffing. Okay? Just imagine some meat flavor in it. That's really exactly what it's like. That's actually a really good comparison, is just, ready-made stuffing in a box that you just like one of those kits, not make it from scratch, but, all the pieces being, even and consistent and smaller like that. As far as the flavor, it's very good. It's leaning towards like a chicken pot pie, but with beef. You've seen those in the store before, frozen. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have had them homemade. But that's what it tastes like, a pot pie, just without the crust and everything. Overall, it's really good. It's edible food. It's not something that you would go, oh my god, this is disgusting. No, it's not as good as homemade beef stew. It will never meet that. But it is real food, and it does have a 25-year shelf life. And I promise you, the best tasting beef stew in this world, you can't throw in a bag and then eat it 25 years later without some special preparation. But overall, I think it's really good. And I can definitely eat this consecutively for a couple days if I had to. In an emergency situation, you don't really have a choice, but you're not going to suffer with this. Okay? I think it's pretty enjoyable for what it is. So, anyway, that is the beef stew. And it is freeze-dried. There's no real brand, per se, on here. And again, this is kind of one of the reasons that it was government issue, is that these packets originally weren't for resale. There's no proprietary brand on here. It's just freeze-dried. It comes from FreezeDryGuy, but the brand or logo for FreezeDryGuy is not on the bag. It's not their product. They're just selling it. Actually, I lied. The manufacturer here is Oregon Freeze Dry Inc. However, that's not the the seller. That would just be the manufacturer. But anyway, still piping hot, by the way. They mentioned add the water. You could add the water in increments to keep it hot, but this still is nice and hot in the bag. I mean, you can see, hopefully you can see the steam coming off of there. But it still is nice and hot in the bag. So that's it. The beef stew. A lot of people wanted to see what it was going to look like, what's it taste like, and that's what the deal is. The best description, like I said, is going to be, the consistency of ready-made stuffing, the flavor of a beef pot pie. That's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I had some fun making it. Unfortunately, I already ate my dinner, so this is going to be thrown into a container and saved for another day. So that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Alright, guys, I'm back. Alright, I'm back. You didn't think you'd get rid of me that easy, did you? We're going to revisit this for a second, because obviously this is beef stew. And as I'm eating this, I'm doing the video and the review and stuff, and I'm thinking, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. It's actually pretty decent, but it's not really a stew consistency, you know. There's not enough moisture. Maybe they should add more water. And, you know, I obviously mixed everything back in the bag together and report it properly, okay? There is, in fact, a lot of, you know, liquid that absorbs all the powder and stuff, all those pieces of food, you know, all the little individual squares, they're coated in powder, and it makes kind of a thicker sauce, if you will, okay, like you would have on a normal stew. So it is, in fact, very stew-like, because that's the one critique I was going to make after the fact. So after I mixed it all together properly and poured a consistent product, you can see it is more like stew. But I just want to make that note in case anyone was looking at it like I was looking at it and thinking, it looks a little dry. So anyway, it is beef stew-like. And like I said, if I take all the food away and just have that kind of gravy, it is thickened up and stuff by all the powder that's around the food. So, that is all. Just a mini update within the video. Take it easy, guys.